Halligan, into my office at once!
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Halligan! Come on in. I suppose we should be glad that you drop in now and then.
What's the matter, Chief?
You know, Halligan, I was just asking myself what you've been doing.
I've been investigating, Chief.
Well, have you? And do you know what I've been doing? I've been dismissing loads of press people, worried citizens, and politicians from my office. The phone hasn't stopped ringing since this morning. The mayor's been to my office, and I haven't seen much of you. When do you expect to come up with results?
I'm getting there, Chief, but it takes time.
Takes time? Takes time? Will I ever get to hear anything else from a detective? Where the heck have you been, Halligan?
You'll get a report at the end of the week.
The end of the week? Why not at the end of the month or at the end of the year? I want the results on my desk tomorrow morning, Halligan. And now, I want to know where you've been all this time.
You'll find out when you read the report I'm going to write.
Don't be impertinent, Detective. As your chief, I'm entitled to ask you about the results of investigations and your proceedings whenever I like.
Yes, Chief, of course.
That sounds better. Otherwise, I could have you write a report about every single step of your proceedings, and I think you know that.
Very well, then. I was visiting an expert on druids.
You were what? Halligan, have you lost your marbles? You're not supposed to be indulging in your hobbies. You're supposed to be solving the skeleton murders.
Is that all, Chief?
No, that is not all. One of the phone calls this morning was from the 4th District in Oxford.
Uh-huh. And?
A beggar has been to see them. He claimed that somebody had first put him to sleep and then robbed him. And do you know who that person was? No? A man who calls himself Detective Halligan! Our colleagues looked into the Central Personal Database, and guess what? They found a man by the name of Detective Halligan. And he works for my department! What do you say to that?
When did you receive the phone call from our colleagues?
Oh, less than half an hour ago. Have you any idea how embarrassed I was about the affair? The colleague I talked to said that the beggar still had some of the substance he'd been knocked out with. Medical alcohol with apple juice. Halligan, please tell me you didn't do it.
I had nothing to do with it, Chief, honestly.
Well, I hope so, for your benefit. From now on, I expect you to start looking into the case at hand.
Chief, the beggar must be mistaken. It's a mix-up.
A mix-up? I hope so. If these accusations turn out to be true, you can spend the rest of your professional life washing police cars.
Okay, Chief. I read you.
Indeed? Excellent, Detective. Then get out and do your job. And, Halligan, if I should hear that you are conducting your investigations in any dubious or illegal way, I'll take you off the case immediately.
Understood, Chief.
Brent? Hello? Is that you? It's your mother. You know, I hate these modern talking machines. I haven't heard anything from you for months now, Brent. Is that any way to treat your mother? Aren't Annie celebrating her 75th birthday at the weekend? We have both been invited. You will come, won't you? Brent? And please, wear something smart. Do me a favor.
Oh, God. That's all I need.
Hello, sir. This is Al's Pizza Palace. Your account from last quarter has not yet been paid. It amounts to £275. Please see to it within the next few days, otherwise we will have to stop serving you.
£275? Wow, that's my personal record.
Hello, Mr. Halligan. This is Melanie Turner speaking. I was wondering why I hadn't heard from you, but Mr. Blake just called and told me everything. I'm out and about quite a lot at the moment, and you may have difficulties trying to get me on the phone. But if you need me, just leave a message. See you later.
Let me give you some good advice, Detective Halligan. Don't interfere with our affairs. It wouldn't be very healthy.
What? Who was that?
Halligan? This is Miller. Damn it, where are you? Do I have to speak to this damned answering machine if I want to get hold of you? If by any chance you happen to turn up in this department, I want to see you in my office. Miller speaking. I've had enough. You better come to my office as soon as possible. Did you get that?
The Chief. I'm glad I've got that behind me. I never use the receiver. That thing is just too heavy. Using the loudspeaker is much more comfortable.
What is it this time, Halligan?
Lowry, about our conversation before.
What?
I've got some questions for you.
My God, Halligan, you just don't get the message, do you? Well, what is it?
Have you got a couple of minutes, Lowry? I'd like to talk to you about a couple of things concerning the last skeleton murder.
I really don't feel like chatting right now. Least of all with you, Halligan. Read the file, it's all in there.
Have you ever heard of an organization called The Circle?
The Circle? Is that somehow connected to the crop circles?
Okay, forget it, Lowry. I didn't see any inquiry results from the information department in your file. Is that right?
Of course, thanks to these bloody new security regulations, which were introduced thanks to you, Halligan. If you hadn't gone and put an arrest warrant for Prince Charles in the computer after Princess Di's accident, we wouldn't be in this mess.
That was just an innocent joke.
Innocent, yeah. In this department, nothing can be done without forms these days. You can't even get a pencil sharpener without written authorization. By the time you got the bloody forms filled in, they're out of date.
Okay. I'll talk to you later, Lowry. Hello, Janet.
What is it now?
It's me again.
And?
Janet, I need to make a database inquiry at your terminal.
I'm sorry, I need your application for access to information. Form 234-2.
Great. And where do I get that?
Here, of course. There. Take it.
Hey, great. Thanks a lot, Janet.
That's all right. And now you'll leave me alone, won't you?
Good. Thanks a lot, Janet. I have to go.
Okay, Brent. See you later.
I need information from the central database. It's about the skeleton murders. But Janet says she needs a signed 223. I've got it with me.
You've got it with you? How nice for you. And do you know something, Halligan? I will not sign it. What do you say to that?
You won't sign it? But, Chief, I need the information.
I'll decide what you need and what you don't. And I'm telling you, you do not need a database. You'll conduct your investigation on foot, the good old-fashioned way.
Chief, that could take ages. We may lose important clues in the meantime.
I'm sure you'll cope with the situation, Halligan. Now stop whining. I'm sick of hearing it.
Of course, Chief. Thanks a lot.
Don't get stroppy, Halligan.
Hello, Janet. It's me again.
I can see that. What is it? Have you forgotten something again?
Well, actually, no. I just thought I'd drop in.
Just do me a favour, Brent, and don't keep me from doing my work all the time.
An instruction from the chief. It says, Mrs. Browning, there are no exceptions to be made regarding the new safety regulations. I hope I make myself clear. Attach this note to your pinboard and stick to it. Chief Inspector Miller. Clipboards. At least that's one thing you can get hold of here without too much trouble. They are needed for the forms. Makes it easier for the chief to sign them. Forms for obtaining materials. It's always handy having one of these tucked away. We ran out not so long ago, and there was a big commotion on this floor. Carbon paper. I'll take that with me. You never know, I might need it. Now there is a form for information procurement on the clipboard. Now I've got a clipboard with the form for information procurement and a sheet of carbon paper. Now I've got a clipboard with the form for information procurement, the carbon paper, and the form for stationery procurement. But the carbon paper juts out a bit. That will be noticed.
Halligan?
Yes?
Might I ask you what you think you're doing?
I just wanted to borrow your scissors. Just for 5 minutes.
Forget it.
Don't make such a fuss about your blasted scissors. I won't break them.
Oh, you won't break them, Halligan. You'll lose them, mislay them, not bring them back. You'll do with them what you always do with anything you lay your hands on. I am determined not to lose anything ever again, Halligan, especially not to you. Do I make myself clear?
All right, then. Keep them.
What is it this time, Halligan?
I'd really like to know how a braggart like you managed to get a date with Janet.
Well, you know what, Halligan? Women do like a winner, don't they? Little Janet is no exception. We went to the palace yesterday.
What was showing?
The new Schwarzenegger film.
You know how to handle women, don't you?
Of course. Janet said she found it disgusting, but I know for a fact that she was very keen on it. Women are like that. Do you understand?
Well, I would have thought that Janet had more sense.
Oh, actually, I think she's got very good sense. That's why she always refuses to let you take her out somewhere. She prefers to go out with a man who doesn't dress in rags dragged out of rubbish bins or eat the same pizza every day.
Did she say that?
The facts speak for themselves, Halligan. You eat pizza in your office and I go to the cinema with Janet. That's the way things work. Oh, I'm sorry, old boy.
What amazes me is why a woman like her should find your boring stories about cars, sports and action films so entertaining.
Halligan, I'm sure you didn't come to tell me that. What do you really want?
Could I just use your phone?
Haven't you got your own telephone, Halligan?
I just wanted to try something.
And what, if I might ask? Try to get a dialing tone?
How do you know that?
Someone in accounts has had a look at the department's telephone bills, Halligan, and you're the record holder by a very, very wide margin. Your phone will only work internally from now on. Janet told me that when we went to the cinema. Where do you keep calling to anyway? The Caribbean?
I don't think that's got anything to do with you, Lowry.
Oh, yes, OK, of course, sure. It's none of my business. But if you think that you can make your phone calls from here, you're dead wrong.
Tell me, Lowry, what's your extension?
196, you know that.
Yes, right. I just forgotten it. I don't phone you so very often.
Yeah, and that's the way I like it, Halligan. Don't you dare start ringing me up and getting on my nerves.
OK. I'll talk to you later, Lowry.
Scotland Yard Detective Lowry.
Miller speaking. I've had enough. You better come to my office as soon as possible. Did you get that?
Oh, of course, sir. I'm coming. I'm on my way.
These are Lowry's paper scissors. He must be looking for them. Now I've got a clipboard with the form for information procurement and the form for stationery procurement. Phew. Lowry is in there. Rather him than me. Chief, I've got an 88M9 order form for stationery here.
For stationery? You need new stationery again? Halligan, you'll lead this department to financial ruin someday, do you know that?
Yes, sir. I mean, no, sir, it's nothing extravagant. I could do with a new pencil sharpener, that's all.
When will you learn to take better care of your things, Halligan? Scotland Yard can't print its own money. Every month the accounts department gives me a hard time because of the deficit. Our budget for office costs is limited.
I know, Chief, but I'm not able to work without a minimum of stationery. Here, I've prepared this for you. You just need to sign it.
Okay then. Okay, give it to me. But that's the last time, do you understand? You'll have to buy the next sharpener from your own money.
All right, Chief.
Anything else, Detective?
No, that was it.
That's good. You know the way out, don't you, Detective?
Of course, Chief. A matchbox. Still half full. It's me again, Janet.
Hello, Brent. How's your case going? Have you got any further yet?
Yes, I've seen an interesting old man. And now I need a database inquiry. This is my 234-2 form, signed by Chief Inspector Miller.
Okay, very good. Which term do you want me to search for?
I'm looking for information about a group called The Circle.
The Circle? Just a sec. It won't take a moment. Yes, we've got something in the database about them. Let me see. An order of Neo-Druids. Their head office is in London. The head of the group is called Lord Sinclair.
Do we know about anyone with a criminal record within the group?
Yeah, just give me a second, Brent. Somebody once filed a complaint against Lord Sinclair for disturbing the nightly peace.
Is that all?
No, hang on. Oh, some months ago, a gardener was killed on Sinclair's estate, and the murderer was never found. After the murder, Lord Sinclair and his order were under surveillance for some time, but there was nothing conspicuous to be found.
Ah, that's interesting. Anything else?
Well, Sinclair was fined once for hunting without a license. No, nothing else.
That's enough for now. Could you please give me the address?
There's 234 Winchester Street. That's in the outskirts of the town. A posh area.
Good. Thanks a lot, Janet. I have to go.
Okay, Brent. See you later.
Hello, Janet.
Halleck.
Could you please print out the data about the circle?
Yeah, of course. No problem.
Good. Thanks a lot, Janet. I have to go.
Okay, Brent. See you later.
That's the printout of the database information on the circle. Lord Sinclair's address is on it as well. 234 Winchester Street. I should leave a message for Miss Turner. Letterbox of the museum. That'll do it. That should be enough for Miss Turner to find me in case something happens to me. A very solid lock. I've no idea how I could open that.
Yes? Who's there?
Is that Lord Sinclair?
No, sir. I'm sorry. I am his lordship's butler.
Scotland Yard. Please open the door.
I regret that his lordship does not receive beggars, salesmen, and police officers as a matter of principle, sir. Besides, Lord Sinclair is not at home at present.
Oh, really? No beggars and police officers, right? In the name of the law, open the door. Otherwise I'll kick it down.
Mr. Excuse me, what was your name again?
Halligan. Detective Halligan from Scotland Yard.
Detective Halligan, am I correct in assuming that you do not possess a search warrant?
Well...
Then I would like to remind you that violent and unauthorized intrusion onto the estate can be prosecuted.
If that's the way you want it, all right then. I'll be back. You can be sure of that.
Of course, sir. Thank you for your visit. Have a nice day.
Hello. Nice day today, isn't it?
Yeah, the weather's great. Just right for a walk.
Yes, that's what I thought. I didn't want to sit in the office any longer on such a wonderful autumn day.
Yes, I know what you mean. What kind of job do you do, then?
Me? Oh, I work with the agricultural office. Administration of public areas, that kind of thing. You know.
Really? Is there something wrong with Lord Sinclair's gardens?
No, everything's fine. I'm here on a private visit. I just wanted to get some fresh air. What are you doing at the moment?
I have to cut the hedges. They grew rampantly this summer. Lord Sinclair doesn't want them to project over the paths where they could be in the way of walkers. He's a conscientious person.
Oh, is he?
Oh, yes, absolutely. He leads a very secluded life here, and he's always conscious of not doing anything that could annoy other people.
What could annoy people out here?
Well, somebody could feel disturbed by disorderly hedges, for example, or somebody could get hurt. There would be a complaint or a caution or something like that, and Lord Sinclair would have to deal with it. He doesn't like things like that. He wants everything done in a way that guarantees that he won't be bothered.
Ah, you mean he wants to be left in peace?
Yes, you could say that. Even I don't see him very often. He often travels with a gentleman from his club.
What's Lord Sinclair's profession?
You mean, does he work? Well, you don't have to work when you're that rich. I think he plays the stock market. And sometimes his bodyguards talk about new deliveries. Lord Sinclair is certainly involved in some sort of import-export business. But between you and me, I don't think that he needs the money. I think business is just a hobby of his, or something like that.
So he has bodyguards?
Of course. A man in his position needs them. And I can tell you, you wouldn't fool around with them. 2 former officers from the Foreign Legion. You know what kind of people they are. I'm always very careful with them anyway. I try to keep out of their way.
Is his lordship afraid of something?
I think he's just a very careful man.
Does he travel often? Is he at home right now?
Yes, he is at home at the moment. He has some visitors. I think he and his friends are planning a little party. They're going to have dinner together tonight. They have done that quite often recently.
Are there going to be many guests?
Well, Lord Sinclair told me that he expects the 4 gentlemen from his club, and as usual, a guest of honour.
Really? A guest of honour?
Yes, that must be one of the club's traditions. They always invite one guest of honour to their dinners. Lord Sinclair always says that the guest of honour is the main person of a successful dinner. He is very hospitable. His guests are very important to him.
Hasn't he got employees who arrange these things for him?
Oh, sure, but his lordship is very choosy regarding those dinners. He insists on cooking everything himself and even buys the ingredients. He's a really passionate cook.
Really? You don't often find that with people who needn't worry about money. If I was rich, I'd have all my meals served in bed.
So would I. You can bet your life on that. But really rich people have their own ideas about all that. Lord Sinclair always cooks meals himself. He even locks the kitchen door. He probably doesn't want other people to know the recipes he uses.
I have to go. Duty calls. Don't work too hard.
Thanks. Have a good day.
This villa is really huge. Such a palace. For only one person. A lot of cut grass. This grass is quite dry. A matchbox. Still half full. Pair of shears, very solid and very sharp. A wire fence. Better not touch it. It could be electrified. I bet this Lord Sinclair is prepared for unwelcome visitors. Damn, the shears are broken. Now the scissors are broken as well, but the hole should be big enough now. Stop! Wait a minute, the fence is electrified. My gloves. I nicked them out of the exhibit room. A bit of wire from Sinclair's fence. Janet's ugly scarf, wrapped up in a plastic bag.
How do you do, Mr. Halligan? How nice of you to visit us.
You know my name?
Certainly. Lord Sinclair has been expecting you.
He has? Is that boss of yours some kind of psychic or what?
Why don't you ask him that yourself? Let's go.
Mr. Halligan, it is a great pleasure to meet you in person at long last.
The pleasure's mine. Would you mind telling your charming pet gorilla here to point his damn pistol somewhere else?
Please forgive us this precautionary measure, Mr. Halligan. I happen to be a distrustful man. Jack.
Lord Sinclair, now that we've met, there are a few questions I'd really like to ask you.
Certainly, certainly. After dinner I will answer any questions you deign to ask me. Until then, please be my guest. Jack, please be good enough to show our guest to his chamber.
You do not seem to be quite aware of the situation you are in, Lord Sinclair. I'm a detective from Scotland Yard. I don't want to have dinner with you. I'm here because of a series of murders in which you are a prime suspect.
With all due respect, Mr. Halligan, I took you for a wiser man than that. If anyone here is unaware of the situation they are in, you are. I have asked you to be my guest at dinner. Please don't disappoint me by refusing. Otherwise, I will have to ask Jack here to persuade you to stay in his own way.
I understand. I'm to stay here voluntarily, because if I don't, you'll force me. Is that it?
I'm glad we've settled that. Now, if you would please follow my friend Jack, he will show you to your room. We will discuss everything else in detail later, over dinner.
Let's go.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Locked up in Lord Sinclair's house. The door looks really solid. Can't do anything without the key. These pictures are ugly. The handles are locked. Lord Sinclair thinks of everything. The fittings are screwed on. That could work, but I haven't got a screwdriver. A wardrobe. Firmly locked. Oh my God, what's that supposed to be? Night has arrived. That's all I needed. The picture looks even weirder in the dark. That's a nail. keyhole is dark. There's a slit under the door. That's the canvas I detached from the picture. That doesn't work. What was that? God! Somebody's screaming out there in the forest. This door looks really solid. Here we are, the key. What's that? Seems to be a pictogram, but I don't know what it's supposed to mean. Hang on. Haven't I seen this symbol before? It's the same as the one on the amulet of the Lord of the Castle. A weird picture. Is it supposed to be a storm? Earth and a shovel. An old castle by the sea. A torrential river. Hey, what the...
Well, Mr. Halligan, I don't believe I have introduced you to the gentlemen of my club yet. This is General Myers of the British Army. Next to him is Bishop Stevenson. The Earl of Sutcliffe, one of the Queen's closest advisors. And the gentleman sitting beside you is Mr. Smothers of the Worldwide Foods Corporation. I'm sure you're curious to learn what our club is all about. But I would suggest you have a bite to eat first. You look pale. You see, Mr. Halligan, you must know we have been following your investigations into these, shall we say, deaths in London for some time. I expect your experience in the park will have convinced you that we are, to a certain degree, responsible for these incidents. As you may have noticed, the meat we are eating at this meal has a rather unique flavour. It is human flesh, Mr. Halligan. This flesh is the source of life force. It grants us strength and power. You will soon discover the incomparable feeling of power for yourself. It will be grander than any feeling you have ever felt. Very soon now, when the day of the ritual's completion has come, our power will be perfect. Then it will be time for the curse that will put an end to the wretched hustle and bustle of this world and make room for something grand and new, a world ruled by druids. I must admit your investigations had us worried for a moment, Mr. Halligan. We had even made plans to put a stop to them by arranging a little accident. But you are a very lucky man. You will witness the great day yourself, and you will be there on the right side. For by eating this flesh, you have become one of us. Welcome to the circle, Mr. Halligan.